4 minutes before we get going. I'll just check everything.
Yeah, that's what.
Okay, so this is the mat that I need to be on?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey guys, we'll be getting underway in 1 minute and 45 seconds. I'm just going to grab something. Where's that? Here it is. Who have we got so far? Say good day. Can you hear me okay? Just let me know. A couple of people. We'll be starting in a minute or so. Us, Robert, thanks for coming back. Appreciate it very much. We'll start in about a minute, I think. I'm thinking of things as we go and I'm writing. I brought a little notepad. Us, Vin, good to see you. Glad you're here from the start. Graham, us, shout out to Graham. Graham has become one of my Patreon family, so I really appreciate that, Graham. Thanks for coming aboard, and I'm just preparing some stuff for you today, so I'll send that out within the next 24 hours. We'll get going in about 15 seconds. We don't have a big number today, but that's fine. 5 people on board, 5 million people on board. I just use my imagination. It's like when I'm doing a class and no one comes, maybe 1 or 2 people. I just kind of close my eyes and pretend I'm at Hombu and Sosai's there and I'm taking a whole class full of black belts and my hair stands up on the back of my neck and I really got to make sure I get it right. So today we have 9. Well, good. Numbers are coming. So say good day. Clarence, Us, good to see you all the way from South Africa. We might get started pretty well about now, I'd say. It's 3 o'clock. So thanks everyone for coming on board. I'm going to do a little bit of a warm-up. I did my deck of cards earlier this morning, so if you haven't done yours, you can do yours a little later. Hey, Rochelle, welcome aboard again. Us, and Harry, good to see you. Us. And today I'm just going to run through a little bit of a warm-up, and then I want to focus on a couple of key things in Kihon. My theory always is that everything begins from a position of survival. Us, Daniel, good to see you, buddy. Welcome back. And what I mean by survival is that you take a survival shape which protects you. Your fighting stance is essentially a position of survival. When you think about it, you're not going to stand there with your hands down or behind your back so they can hit you. You shape yourself so you can survive, okay? And everything you do is designed to allow you to survive so that you're there at the end of the day. And I always, even though I'm not a proselytizer, I always love the biblical verse, Ecclesiastes 7 verse 8, I think. Greater is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. I couldn't tell you how many times it's come true in a tournament. The ones who can hang in there. Us, good to see everybody. Raj, Kumar all the way from Nepal. Clarence from South Africa. Harry from down the road. Now listen, what I'm getting at with the survival thing is you have to have a concept of survival shapes in your kumite stance. So I'm going to start off first of all with some basics, warm up, then some basics. Just focus on the blocks again, because in those 5 blocks that we do in basics contains so much and so much movement. Most people just go through them without giving them thought, but you need to think about it. You know, you need to think deeply. You don't have to go too deeply. You just have to know enough to understand why you move and how you move. So let's start off with a warm-up, and then we'll go from there into some basics. Thanks for coming on board, everyone. We've got 14 so far. Good to see you all. And I'll get started. I'm a bit sore too. I had a really big workout this morning. My legs are sore. Okie doke. Let's go. Knees, itch. 2、3、4、反対。その電気もうちょっと前に来てしろよ。スクワリング、1、2、普通ぐらいかな。And leg straight, squatting down, leg straight. There's a good thing to remember too. If you do a little bit of a warm-up and stretch in the morning, it makes a big difference later on in the day, okay? And another thing is that if you can do some mai keages and yoko keages in the morning, that helps it for some. Look, I don't understand the biomechanics, but what it seems to do is align everything, gets everything in alignment, puts the fascia in place, sorts out the joints, so that later on in the day when you train, everything settles a lot quicker, okay? So it never hurts to do a few mai keages, and this is the way I do them. Okay, I start here, and then I'll step across, 1, 2, and kick, step back, 1, 2, kick. So I kick with my left leg to the right, kick with my right leg to the left. See, just walking, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Come on, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And I'll take you through my keage warm-up, not a warm-up, a workout, mai keage workout one day. It involves mai keages. You end up doing about 600 of them. It sounds a lot, but it's not too hard. It's a great workout. Okay, so once again, knees around, squatting. I'm going to turn sideways. We'll do a little bit of a yoga stretch. So from here, breathing in, stretching up, breathing out and down. As far as you can, relax. Stay relaxed. Keep your hands down, breathe in as your head comes up. Hold your breath. Push up, breathe out. Now roll your toes and stretch the spine up. Breathe in, and now breathe out. Okay, just stay in that position. Let the head go soft so gravity pulls the neck down, good for the neck. And just keep taking your gaze and your head between your shins. So you want the distance from your hands to your shoulders to lengthen. Just breathe naturally there. Breathe naturally. If that's hard, you can go down to your elbows. That's no problem. For some people, it's a bit hard. Breathing in. Walking up. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Let's do that again. In. Out. In, head up. Hold. Out. In. Out. Hold the position. Breathe naturally. Let the head go soft by letting gravity pull it down. Roll the elbows in. Extend the distance from the hands to the shoulders. Breathe in. And coming forward. Breathe out. Breathe in. Out. One more time. In. Out. In. Hold. Out. In. Out. Breathe normally. Breathe in. Up. Breathe out. In. And out. Remember that yoga breathing that we do? We call that Ujjayi breathing, which means warrior breath. And at the end of the day, it's simply an ibuki done gently with your mouth closed. So if we do an ibuki, now we keep doing it, but we close our mouth. See, that becomes a Ujjayi breath, except you soften up. You keep your tummy firm. Don't push it too hard. Let it come more softly. We'll go from there. Troy, good to see you, buddy. Welcome aboard. And Tiger Kun, always good to see you. Kyokushin Shuffle. Hey, Patty, good to see you. Thanks for coming, by the way. Pat, by the way, you see that name there? Everyone, the Kyokushin Shuffle? That's Paddy Pinto. He's in Melbourne. He's doing some great work online as well. And he's also doing some fantastic interviews. He's just interviewed some legends like Judd Reed and some great people. I think you even did Tom Callahan, right? So anyway, go to there, go look up the Kyokushin Shuffle and check out what Paddy's doing online. He's doing some great stuff. Okay, back to the breathing. I lost my breath because Paddy's here. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to take that ibuki, which pushes hard. So it's a yang style breathing. Close our mouth and turn it into a yin style breathing. So then we soften up. Now, as you keep working it, what will happen is the sound of the in-breath and the sound of the out-breath become almost identical. And that's a great breath to use when you're stretching. Okay, so as we do it now, let's see if we can use that Ujjayi breathing as we continue on with the warm-up. Okay, let's go. Double shoulder width, twisting. Good, down the middle. 1, 2, 3, pitch, knee, sun, knee, sun. Pull to the right. This is where you can use that breathing. Remember, as you breathe out, the body will release. And left. Good. Bend the right leg. Go nice and soft. Nice and soft. Let gravity do the work for you. Okay? It's gravity that's working, not your muscles. Nice and relaxed. Hip flexor. Remember, don't lean here and push back. Push here and lean back. So you're trying to open up this hip flexor area, which is vital for good, strong roundhouse kicks. Push, push, push. You don't have to have your knee on the ground. I just do it because my knees are a little bit creaky. But if you can do it with your knee off the ground, that's just as good, probably even better. And around, toes up in the air. If you can, get the calf muscle on the ground. So you're going nice and deep and relaxed. I hope that light's okay. I can't really tell from here. But anyway, I'll trust in technology and hope we got it right. Switching sides. Okay, again, nice and soft and deep. Settle into the position. No stretch should stress the joint. If it is, your alignment's wrong. That's why I use the acronym grab a stretch. Grab, G-R-A-B. G means the gaze. So every stretch should have a gaze. So I don't want to be stretching here and looking over there because I'm going to pull my neck. Okay, in this position, I want my gaze to simply run straight through my nose, out like that. Okay. R stands for relaxation. You combine that warrior breathing, that Ujjayi breathing, with a nice relax. So every time you breathe out, you let the body relax into the technique. A stands for alignment. So it means when you're doing the stretch, your muscles and bones and joints are all aligned correctly. And that way, you'll protect the joints as you stretch. And V stands for breath, of course. And we come forward here once again, stretching the hip flexors. So I want to lean forward with my hips, but push back with my upper body. If you spend a lot of time in front of the computer, which we're all doing right now, sit on the floor and do this whilst you're on the computer. And that way you get a good stretch even as you're on the computer. Good. Legs straight again. Pull down. I know some people just sit and watch, but it's so much better if you actually work with it, okay? Because you'll, at the end of the hour, you will have had a nice stretch, okay? Bring the feet into Shiko dachi. Shiko is a nicely aligned dachi. So it means the toes and knees and muscles and bones are all in alignment. Put my thumb forward, my fingers back, not the other way around. My thumb forward, fingers back, and relax the shoulders and push deep. Now I'm just going to straighten one arm, twist to the side. Again, see, I'm looking at the camera here and then my shoulders around. But in reality, what I want to do is I want to allow my gaze to stay square with my shoulders. Twist the other side. Use the leverage in my straight bones, in my arm, to get a nice stretch in the spine. Down, nice and deep. Good. Come in a fraction. And what we're going to do is the Shiko bumi, so the sumo style stomping. Remember, it's a stretch, not a kick. The material they make these things out of these days is terrible. This belt just seems to be shrinking by the day. Okay, let's do a Shiko stretch. So, 1. And nice and deep, squatting down. 2. 3. If you have trouble with your balance, just touch your fingers against the wall. 4. 5. 6. Nice and deep. Good. Stretch the legs again. Pull the head down. Let's do a little bit of a split stretch to the side. Make sure you got one hand, one side, one hand. Don't be like this because the stretch changes. Again, that's the wrong alignment. To have correct alignment, you want your body square to the front leg. You can point the toes or pull them back, I don't mind. And switch sides. For alignment too, it's good to try and keep the back foot straight as you go into the stretch. And front. Ujjayi breathing, nice and soft. After about 3 or 4 breaths, you'll feel a release. Sitting back. Good. To the right. When I go right, I push with my left hand on my knee. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That way you don't use the muscles in your leg that you're trying to stretch to pull. You see, you want all the leg, all the muscles, both sides, antagonist and protagonist, the pulling and the pushing muscles. You want them nice and relaxed in this leg that I'm stretching. And switch sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. We cut everything short because we don't have the time, but ideally you want to spend, if you can do 45 minutes to an hour stretching a few times a week, I guarantee at the end of the COVID-19 lockdown, your flexibility is going to be so much improved that people will be amazed, okay? Everything we do just takes a little bit of daily effort and discipline. Nothing ever happens inside your comfort zone. You're not going to get fit and strong sitting on the sofa dipping corn chips in salsa whilst you watch Netflix, okay? Try and find ways, use this time, try and find all kinds of ways to work the time you have and take advantage of it. I'm going to talk a little bit about that at the end of the session. Okay, let's go forward now. Breathe in. What I do is when I breathe in, I spider fingers out. And then relax to go down. Keep your alignment, eyes going straight ahead, toes in the air. Don't let the toes fall forward, especially young fellas. Don't let the knees collapse in. And relax. Give it a nice squeeze off. Shake it. Going forward. If you can hold your knees, that's great. If you can hold your ankles, that's great. If you can hold your toes, that's even better. Okay, let's just go forward, relax. Again, your alignment is straight down the middle. Breathe in, out. Ujjayi breathing, warrior breath. Every time you breathe out, just relax, go down a little more. If you can reach your feet, you can use a yoga style grip, which it's a trigger grip. You take your first two fingers and you wrap them around your big toe. See, like that? And then you use that as an anchor to pull yourself forward. And you use that grip whenever your hands go to your feet and you need to pull. Good. Relax. Just have a minute or so of stretching on your own. Nice and relaxed. I'm just going to go and check the camera out to see who's come. Also, let me know if the sound is okay, if you can hear me okay when I'm back there. Does it sound good? Boss, Sensei Richard Kimura, what a pleasure to have you always. Richard from Hawaii. We've got South Africa, Hawaii, Nepal. That's fantastic. Okay. So the sound's all right, eh? Oh, good. Thanks. Thanks for letting me know. Okie doke. I'm going to move on now with a few basics. Obviously, we all do basics in training. But there's no point in doing 1,000 basics mindlessly. You're much better off doing 50 with a full focus and attention than you are doing 1,000 without concentration, okay? Concentration is the key to life. All right, so we take the Sanchin. Feet are shoulder width, actually hip width. From there, Miki Sanchin dachi. So as the right knee comes over, the right elbow comes over. Out, spine up, good posture, shoulder blades pulled together, elbows in, hands out. Not too wide. You want the elbow in line with the outside of the body, the hand in line with the outside of the shoulder. From there. Okay, both hands out, right hand back. Now when you practice this technique, don't so much worry about the punch as worry about the spine, the connection between the knee and shoulder, so the arcs of tension. The arcs of tension, the movement around the spine. And the Hikite. What does the Hikite do? Well, the Hikite just coordinates the whole body and allows the whole body to become part of the technique. And you know that to be so because if I left my hand here and do the arm, I can only generate so much power. May still be knockout power, you don't know. But what I want to do is by using the Hikite and thinking in terms of the spine and the arcs of tension. There's no Hikite, no retracting hand without a concept of the arc of tension and the spine motion. Okay, so you get this nice double hip movement, which allows you that the Hikite will help you move quicker. Okay, nice, relaxed. Pitch, nip, sun, ship, up, look, hey. So right hand back. Got a tip? That's hey, hey, go, look, hey, what, you, hey, 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 oh, look, hey, what, you. Good. Relax the arms, Jodan Uke. I'm going to focus on the blocks today. Why? Because they're central to your survival shape in Kumite. Check the stance again. Remember, the knees are bent, but your weight is positioned exactly over the foot. I'll talk about that if I remember later, otherwise another day. You have to have the weight centered on the feet, and there's a way to make sure that's correct. Upper block, one. So the head stays still. The block is here. That's where the action is. So the block is that closing that gate. There, like that. In Kumite, if you can imagine, you use the upper block here against roundhouse kicks and so on. But for general purposes, that's where the action is, here. So the upper block is not just that motion, it's also that motion. So we drop it down the center line. Cross the hand over, and as we raise the hand up, we twist the shoulder forward. One, and twist. One, hand all the way over, twist. Notice when I take the hand up, it doesn't move off the line. If you can imagine, If you could imagine a line straight up my shoulder with my little Japanese Joe, I bring the hand across and look, it goes straight up there. So when I twist in, that's where it finishes, in line with that shoulder. I don't want to come in and take it off that line. That makes sense? I want to come across and push it straight up that line of the shoulder. Okay? So drop, one, and across and twist. Drop one, across and twist. I want you to feel now the connection between the knee and shoulder. One, one, one. So now we drop down. The focus now, if we use our imagination and someone is punching towards us. So now this becomes the block and this becomes the takeaway. Okay, we want to capture that arm so we can take them down, or capture that arm so we can drag them. Okay, so that becomes the vital block. One, and take it away. One, take it away. One, take it away. One. If you had your hand open, that'd be just like a block. Take it away. One motion now. One, two, three. Don't lose that descending elbow. Four. Hikite. That's. Hey. Some. Hey. Go. Go. Hip. Hip. Go. Go. Hip. Hey. One. Hey. Go. Hey. Hip. Good. Chudan soto uke. We call it soto uke because it comes from the outside. Just like we call someone who comes from the south a southerner, we call a block that comes from the outside an outside block. In some styles, this is actually Uchi-uke because it's going towards the inside. That's a little confusing for me. But anyway, this arm, once again, comes across the body. That's your retraction. It's a Hikite. It does two things. It adds speed, coordinates the movement of the body around the spine. Okay, from here, pull that elbow, one. Notice again, the arm comes across in line with the shoulder. The wrist is shoulder height. Don't have the arm too bent. There's no power in that. Extend the arm a little bit. Two, from behind. Three, you'll feel the power come off the hip if you get the spinal twist correct. Four, five, six. Hikite. That's. Hey. Some. Hey. Up. Up. Hit. Hut. Yup. Yup. Hit. Hit. Hum. Hit. Up. Up. Hit. Hut. Yup. You. Okay, just if you remember, when a child learns to write, they do so in large, clear movements, large, clear letters. They start off writing letters that are maybe 10, 20 times bigger than they actually need because they're teaching their body certain neurological pathways. They don't have control. I was reading something, or forget where, but someone was talking about the first time their daughter was trying to get the yogurt into their mouth. This stuff was everywhere because they're still carving those neurological pathways. But once they slowly get control of it, anything's possible. I remember in 1985, I was in Japan for 7 months working and training, and had an accident on my bicycle and I broke my right collarbone. So for the next few weeks anyway, maybe 5, 6, I can't remember, I had to eat with my left hand, using chopsticks with my left hand, and you could imagine what fun that was. But the fact of the matter was, if I slowed it down and thought in terms of clear motion, then in time I was able to do it just as easily as my right. And even now I can use chopsticks with both hands. So it's the same with any basics movement. The reason we do it much larger than it would normally be used is so that we can carve the correct neurological pathways so that later on, We need them. I'm just going to... Richard says, I'm glad I've got the same thoughts of quality over quantity. Well, I'll be perfectly honest with you, Richard. Probably for a long time in my youth, I was all about quantity over quality. But as I get older, the quantity becomes less important, and I realize how important the quality of it is. Good to see everyone. Vincent Nutter, Shane Manor. Oh, it's good to see you, buddy. I hope that gym of yours is going to survive through this. Doggy the dog. I'm not too sure that it is, but if you're a good guy, I'm glad. Okay. Thanks, everyone. And, I'm sure there's a way to cut out strange comments. But anyway, people do funny things to grab attention. Okay, let's go. So we're here now. We've just finished the soto uke. Now we're coming uchi-uke. Once again, it's all about the connection from the knee to the shoulder. Okay? Again, the wrist is shoulder height. The only difference between the position in soto uke, soto uke and uchi-uke is simply the position it finishes. Okay, as we turn, I've got to close this gate. Everything is about closing this gate. So as I turn my body, the elbows come together. And then I rub on the outside of my arm. Turn, outside. Sometimes it's good to get someone video you, especially senior grades. You get so used to doing it a certain way that it feels right. We had one student who was adamant. He was a third dan. You go, no, that's not how I do it. And he was going like this. He was going one, really nice, and then he was going, bringing it on the inside. And he'd done it for so long that no one had pulled him up. And so we videoed it and watched it in slow motion. He nearly fell off his chair. You can't believe sometimes that what you're doing is as it is, because you just don't feel it once it becomes a habit. Okay, so wrap out, wrap out, wrap out, wrap out. Sometimes I have an awful lot of time on my hands, and one day I had so much time, I counted all the techniques in all the kata in Kyokushin. Yeah, I know, there's far too much time on my hands. The most common technique was, of course, Chudan Chudan ski. The second most common was Uchi-uke. Now you think about that, that's often ignored because you don't use it in kumite, in tournaments so much. But it shows you how unrealistic tournaments could be, because the actual fact that Uchi-uke movement, and I spent so much time talking about the connection between enke gyakski, shito, mawashi-uke. And now look at that Uchi-uke movement. It's just the same again. It's the tensho movement, but with the hand closed. Tensho. There, look. So you get the arc of tension, the spinal connection for self-defense, and especially when you close into the grappling ranges, when you have to get control of somebody, that Uchi-uke movement becomes a vital part of your training. Okay? Wrap. Good. Wrap, unwrap. Wrap. Look, elbow touch. That helps flexibility in the shoulders and back. Unwrap, wrap, unwrap, wrap, unwrap. Let's do a little more relaxed now. Each, knee, sun, chi. Kiara tip, each, next, sun, hey, up, head, up, yup, each, sun, hey, yup, head. Good. Gedan-barai. It's elbows together once again. This is not a gedan-barai. Sosai was adamant. And also Shihan Bobby Lowe, when he used to teach self-defense, says the gedan-barai without a body turn is essentially useless. What you have to do is turn your body. If they've got your grip and you're breaking their grip, if I don't turn my body to bring my hand to my center line, it's not very powerful. Okay? Turn my body, elbows touch, I slide down the arm. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. One motion now. Edge, knee. See, even though my body turns, my head essentially stays same. We call that dominant head position. I might talk about that a little bit later on. I hope you guys aren't taking notes, because you'll find all these things that I say I'm going to talk about later on. There'll be so many of them, we'll never get a chance. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, good. Okay, keage tip. Up, Uchi-uke, gedan-barai, the most important block, but it's only important if the elbows touch. If you do it like this, it's useless. Touch the elbows together and switch. Touch, switch. The top arm goes to the inside. 1, switch. 1, switch. If you look at it from the side, the hands actually form an arc going in and out. It's like 2 uraken. Uraken here, tetsui there maybe, or uraken here, uraken there. So both hands do an uraken. So watch, hands come in. It's almost like you're touching your shoulders, like you have epaulets on your shoulders and you're ripping them off. Then you push out. Come in, out, out. See, you use the elasticity of the spine to get that explosive motion. 1, 2, notice the elbows touch. 3, 4, 5. Get a tip. Let's. 1, let's. Go. Let's. Go. Let's. That block becomes really important because Floyd Mayweather made hundreds of millions using that block. If you know Floyd Mayweather's peekaboo style, it's essentially Uchi-uke. And I used to, when I was younger, and I do dojo kumite especially, carry my hand there so I can't be kicked in the kidneys. And I'd be like this. And I protect my head and shoulder I protect my head and neck with my shoulder. This one would be here with my elbow down to protect against body kicks. And from there, you can do a really fast back fist come jab. There like that, you lead, back fist. There like that. And then you can come in with the right. There, like that. From this position. Don't try and turn and do a jab. It's a back fist just from there. Like that, it works really well. 1, 2, and then this hand chambers like we do in basics. 1, 2, it chambers here, and it's set up for a nice rip straight away. Okay, so I'll leave the basics there for a sec. What I wanted to do is briefly talk about I learned karate when I was younger, but no, I don't really like it. Oh, well, I hope one day you do like it, because there's a lot more to karate than probably what we ever do in the first few lessons. Okay. Imran here, good to see you, buddy. Difference in height between soto-uke and uchi-uke? No. Both of them are shoulder height. The wrist is at shoulder height. Good question. With a change in posture, look, the hand can drop down, so now it's not shoulder height anymore. Soto-uke, shoulder height. Uchi-uke, shoulder height. The height of your movement, of course, depends on what your opponent's doing as well. Okay, what I want to do now, just for a little bit of fun, I want to look at the connection between the Sanchin stance and the fighting stance. If you ever get a chance, go to a secondhand bookshop and have a bit of a squiz at secondhand boxing books. You have a look at some of the old boxing books and you look at their fighting stance, and it's 90% identical to a Sanchin. Okay, so look at Sanchin. I roll my pants up so you can see a little bit of my ankles. Not because they're good looking, just because it helps you understand the technique. Okay, so here's Sanchin, right? Essentially, the feet are pointing in. The weight is even, but the feet are pointing in. Now, how do I translate that? For example, Uchi is a good. Why do we have our arms back here? Well, let's look at this. Let's take one arm and bring it right across the body and turn that foot. take a little bit of a Sanchin to the side. Now you have a fundamental fighting stance. But if I leave my feet turning out, you have no power, right? When I do this, have a bit of fun with the kids, but you know if someone walks up to you and their wrists are wrong, their fists are wrong, and their feet are out, and they go, you want to fight? Well, if you don't fall over laughing, I'd be surprised. But if someone walks up and things are turned in and they've got that Sanchin stance and they're like this, well, then things are a little bit different. You know then that they have a much clearer picture of what they're doing. Just checking the notes. Say, can Chudan ski position have someone push hard on your fist? Will inevitably fall back. Now do Uchi-uke and will be grounded. Well, yeah, that's probably true. You'll be grounded in Uchi-uke, Vin, provided you have the Uchi-uke connection right. But a lot of people, Graham Rose, nice honor. Graham Rose just joined in there, guys. He's one of my heroes in the old days when we used to train to fight tournaments together. I think I was kind of retiring as he was coming on board, but talk about a fighting spirit anyway. What a real pleasure to have you on board, Graham. Okay, so Vin, the reason you get rooted with Uchi-uke is because of the length of the arm. If you do Uchi-uke and the arm is too bent, you're not rooted. You'll just end up falling backwards. So the key to Uchi-uke and soto-uke even is that extension of the arm. So that's a really interesting point you brought up, Vin. You've got to have the arm here. Anything below 90, and you start to lose the strength in the arm, the mechanical advantage of the arm. Okay? With Chudan Uke, the reason you get pushed back is because there's no give in the elbow, so you'll start doing that and then push your shoulder back. Okay? But if you were to slightly bend your arm so that when he pushed, you let the arm bend a little bit, then you can remain strongly rooted to the ground. Okay, so back to the Sanchin. Here's our Sanchin stance. Okay, how do we convert that into a fighting stance? Well, we simply turn our foot, and there's your fighting stance. Sanchin, fighting stance. Sanchin, fighting. Aguchi, and the hand across. Okay, let's look at a couple of really key points just to finish off with that fighting stance. And I want you to do some shadow sparring if you can. Here's a couple of points. The first one is never have two heels on the ground. That's the golden rule of any sparring, any shadow sparring, particularly shadow sparring, because you're physically and psychologically preparing for kumite. You need to do your preparation before the fight, not during. Okay? Good to see everyone. Okay, look. So what I mean by that is you never have two heels on the ground. And when you get a little old and tired, that'll happen more often. When you're in a kumite, in a 40-man kumite, a 50-man kumite, your heels hit the ground. That's when people start to get you. But if you train so that you always have one heel off the ground, what that means is you always have elasticity in your movement. If your heel's on the ground, you have no elasticity in the ankle joint. And so much comes off the ankle. That's why Sosai said the number one physical attribute that transfers most to powerful fighting is the ability to jump, is the spring ability, the explosive ability. Okay, and you know, because as you get older and your knees go and you can't jump off the ground anymore, you can't do kumite anymore. You last one round, the knees are gone. Okay, so I roll my pants up so you can see. What I want you to think about is take your normal stance. And a good way to find that stance is just walk. Just walk, stop. Because your natural walking gait is your natural fighting stance. Okay? There. And I drop, and I lift that back heel off the ground. Okay? In Kyokushin, because we have the leg kicks, it's vital that the front foot remains straight. A little bit of a turn in, and you're a sucker for a Kyokushin thigh kick. That's why some guys, they just don't know what's wrong. They say, I see that, but I'll block it. But you can't if your foot is in. There's too much biomechanics involved in getting the foot out. But if your leg is dead straight, it's very easy just to pick the leg up and block either side. Okay, so the front foot is straight, back foot. And here's an interesting thing. If you're a puncher, the back foot will come more narrow there because that gets the power in the punch. But if you're kicking, you can practice this in your shadow sparring. Okay, when you're punching, you can have your stance narrow from the front, but as you start the kick, bring it out a little bit, and then you'll find that the kicks will work better. So we're going to do some shadow sparring for a few minutes. What I want you to concentrate on is never let two heels touch the ground. It can be mostly the back heel because that gives you the movement, but sometimes when you're retreating, it's the front heel comes off. Front heel comes off, you change angles. So it could be coming back, switch off the angle. My front foot became my back foot and the heel's off the ground. As it goes back, I can lift that heel off the ground again. So just move around a little bit and feel. I never want you to have your knees straight or your heels both on the ground. Just moving off the angle. Visualize. See the leg kicks coming. If your foot is bent in, you try and block that leg kick. It's too much. You don't have time. Block the leg. Boom. Relax the shoulders. If you join me for the deck of cards, you'll know that during the shadow sparring yoga rounds, you're just working on relaxation. But make sure that back heel always stays off the ground. Even when you switch, look, I switch, my back heel's off the ground. Okay? Even when I do a half shuffle, look, heel's still off the ground as I push through there. Always keep that heel off the ground. Move around, nice relaxed. Boom. You can even do your Garry O'Neill style footwork if you like. Boom, bang. No one in the world does it like Garry. But even when you do it, you don't let two heels touch the ground. Look, when I do the Garry step, the Garry O'Neill style footwork, look, my foot comes, but the heel's off the ground. As soon as the foot goes down, that's the end of the movement. Foot off. Boom, step across. Look, heel off the ground. Always keep that heel off the ground for the elasticity of the leg. Now, is it important to have your hands in the right place? Yes, but it's not as important as the elbows, because if my hands are in the right place and my elbows are wrong, nothing's right. Okay, but if my elbows are in the right place, my hands naturally will come to the correct position. So don't think get your hands up, think get your elbows in. Elbows forward, concave the chest, the hands are up. Boom. Work that stance, moving around. You don't even have to throw techniques. I just want you to feel what it's like to do the footwork movements with the heel off the ground. Switch, come to the back, the front foot becomes the back leg. Switch, again, boom, move around. Okay, so you see the whole idea of shadow sparring is you have so many little things to focus on. Good posture, good vision, good balance, but especially it comes off making sure that you have your knees bent and one heel off the ground, and you never want to get set. Sometimes you go online, you can see some of these videos where you've got some young mixed martial arts kickboxer guy challenging an old traditional martial artist. And the first thing that traditional martial artist does is plant both heels on the ground. And maybe their stuff works well in the dojo, but you don't want to have both heels on the ground because you completely lose mobility, okay? If some of those old traditional blokes just learn how to move with their heel off the ground and more explosiveness in the knees, they give themselves half a chance, you know? So anyway, that's an unfortunate consequence of them doing that. So just to finish off, I've got about 10 minutes. I'm going to finish off with a little bit of a meditation again. But before I do that, I want to talk about setting goals during this period. Now, you can go online, find 1,000 different places to set goals. Yeah, write it down, visualize it, all that stuff. But what I really want you to do is understand how to set a goal for training. And one of the worst things we do is we try to do too much too soon. So, for example, when I set goals for myself, I set goals, and even for the dojo will focus on a single principle and the techniques that come off that single principle for 6 months. So you can walk into our dojo, well, you can't right now because we're shut down. But from January to June this year, our single focus was the double hip switch and the front kick. And so guys will constantly come back to that in kumite, even to the point where they'll let go of what they're really good at so they can focus on what they're not so good at. So by setting goals, you can set a goal, say, between now and the end of June, so say 30th of June, and you work out how many days that is, and you decide on perhaps a single principle or a single combination or a single technique. And I promise you, you'll get more out of doing that than doing one combination or principle a week for the next 3 months. Okay, so that principle, and I think it's a good one because Kyokushin suffers badly from this. I think a good principle would be relaxation through the body so you can feel the arc of tension around the elasticity of the spine. Okay, by relaxing your shoulders. Sosai said 90% of all problems can be related to excessive tension in the shoulders. Okay, you don't want that. And once you do that, the arms start to punch independently. But you keep the shoulders relaxed so there's nothing stopping the flow of energy. Treat it like this fire hose with energy running out. And by just staying relaxed, you'll get a lot more out of it. So for a goal, maybe, what you can do is just go, okay, for the next 3 months, all I'm going to do is not throw a single hard punch. I'm not going to throw a single hard punch. All I'm going to focus on is getting soft in the shoulders. Boom. I'm going to keep that heel off the ground. Even when I turn, lift the heel off the ground, push off. Focus so that the heel stays up. You get the tendon reflex. That stretch, shorten cycle allows you to move with a lot more speed. Okay, so whether your focus is relaxation or whether it is combinations through relaxed shoulders, or whether your focus is simply getting one particular kata right. Okay, there's no point in saying for 3 months, I've got lots of time, I'm going to get all my kata right. You can't get all your kata right in 3 months. I don't care what you think. You can improve them, but you'll walk away with them all a little bit better, but none of them really right. But if you choose one single kata, I once asked Sosai which kata she'd focus on. He said there's 2 kata that you should do. One is the favorite kata that you love most so that you're always comfortable and hungry to do it. You always choose the kata that you like most. And also a good, I realize he didn't say this, but I realize that if ever you're asked to do a demo and you've been focusing on your really good kata, you can always pull that kata off better than anything else. The second kata that you choose is the kata you're working on right now to master, the kata that you're working on. Imran saying it's very tempting to go all out during shadow sparring. Well, yeah, sometimes you want to do that. But this is why you look at boxers. What have they got in their boxing gym? They've got floor-to-ceiling bags, speed balls, and a heavy bag, and shadow sparring. I once did, there was this fantastic boxing coach at the gym in Brooklyn in New York, and the boxing coach was recommended to me by Tyrone Tongia. Tyrone was one of my uchideshi. He went into professional boxing. A shout out to Tyrone. And he retired as the Australian light middleweight professional champion. And he recommended this gentleman. I wish I'll try and remember his name and look him up. But anyway, I don't think he realized how old I was. I was about 52, but I think he thought I was about 22 because he just smashed me for 23-minute rounds. But out of that 23-minute rounds, I did 2 rounds on the heavy bag. The rest was speed ball, skipping, accuracy, target work, floor-to-ceiling ball, and in the ring with him doing mitts. And the mitts, every time I tried to hit it hard, he was so funny. He'd be holding the mitts, and I'd try and hit it hard, and he'd go, oh, no, pull this sour face like I just fluffed in his face or something like that. It was I'd try and hit it too hard. He'd go, oh, but if I just kept my rhythm and relaxed, what he would do is go, yeah, and he just kept me, and I was meant to be in for 3 rounds. He kept me in on the mitts for 6 rounds. And I'm thinking, wow, that was always, later on, I thought that was really nice because I think I was starting to get what he was trying to show me, and that made him happy. Okay, so even on the mitts, you don't try and hit them hard, you hit with rhythm. Remember, Imran, it's not about hitting hard. Hitting hard is not a function of the body. Hitting with balance, relaxation, accuracy, timing, and speed. That is where you get your power. That's the acronym BRATS. Like that. Balance, relaxation, accuracy, timing, and speed. They're the most important things. Daniel, if you're a good kicker, but your punches aren't so good, it's funny you should say that, actually. I'm digressing a little bit. We have 5 ranges, and I can tell you now that from my experience over the years watching people, you'll get 5 different personalities in those ranges. Some people will just walk straight through the kicks and punch. Other people will love to sword fight with their legs. Other people will just go, they'll take a couple of punches to get in and headbutt and elbow, and someone else will want to go straight to the ground. They're all different personalities. And within us, we have those 5 personalities as well. We like to use those different ranges according to our personality at the time. So if you're a really good kicker, well, that means you've got good balance and you've got probably good footwork. So now all you need to do is relax. And if you can, because kicking, you can get away with kicking with a little bit of tension through the upper body, especially if you're flexible. But as soon as you want to go in a punch range, if you're not flexible, if you're not relaxed, it'll all come out in the wash. So what I would do is I'd keep my feet on the ground, or if you're doing, let's say you set a goal to do 5 2-minute rounds, or whatever. Well, then out of those 5 2-minute rounds, you do the first round is nothing but hands. Just work nothing but putting hand combinations together. Then the second round is hands and good footwork. But concentrating always, elbows in the correct position, the hands in the correct position. Look how far I'm throwing that punch. It's maybe 20 centimeters, 10 inches, 8 inches. I don't want to throw everything all the way out, because as soon as you do that, your mindset changes. Okay, I've got a whole chapter on this in my new book, not the Budo Karate Masayama. I've got another one coming out in 6 months after that. And I spent a whole chapter talking exactly about this, and how your mindset determines everything, and how your body actions that you're used to can determine your mindset in reverse. So if I start to try and hit too hard and too long, your mindset will go from one of working on skill to one of wanting to win. Okay? Thank you. Just don't seem to be enough. This is absolute. Thanks, Clarence. I appreciate you coming on board. Okay, we're running out of time, I think. As always, we've hit the hour mark. I could talk all day, but I want to do a little bit of meditation, and I just want to focus on relaxing. But Daniel, yeah, by all means, out of 5 rounds, I'd spend 2 rounds just punches, 1 round just playing with your kicks, but focused on relaxed shoulders, and then the next couple of rounds, do maybe a 30-70 balance of kicks and punches, and then just focus all the time. Look at that softness. You don't want to hit hard. That'll come later. You want to work smoothly, nice and slow even. Put a metronome on at 120. Like that, and just relax. And then senior guys, advanced guys can also get a feel of that tensho movement that we were talking about. You've used the elasticity of the spine to come with the tensho movement, and you can do that in your shadow sparring. Boom, there's a tensho, there's a tensho, there's a punch. Boom, there's a tensho, drag in. Boom, coming in, drag the arm. Boom, like that, and you can play with it like that too. Okay, so just to finish off, just a couple of minutes, I'm going to start doing some short meditation videos as well, separate to this. But for now, I keep taking my glasses off, but I keep putting back on when I see someone's written something. Yeah, good on you, Daniel. Just try that, see how it goes, get back to me. But don't forget to check out the website on YouTube, and also go and have a look at Patreon there. I've got some good opportunities for people who like to share the love. But the reason I talk about meditation is because I was talking with someone online today. The whole world is designed to keep us away from that inner peace. So the shops, the advertising, the TV, everything is designed to keep your attention out, because that way you keep wanting something new and keep wanting to spend money and so on. But if you just learn to take a little bit of time each day, and I just call it the power of the single breath. You don't have to meditate for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. You can do that. You can build up to that. And if you do, that's fantastic. But what you simply want to do is work on the idea of a single breath. Okay, so I brought I have one of these little cushions. My buddy Al bought it for me. And I'm just going to wrap a towel around it. And the reason I do that is because if you're a little less flexible in the hips, so you can't sit in comfortably and cross-legged, well, by having that little cushion, what it does is it elevates your butt just enough so that you can sit comfortably with your legs crossed. Okay? So even if you're sitting on a chair or a sofa, doesn't matter. Okay? It's always good to think in terms of sitting in a way you don't normally sit. So, for example, some people say you can meditate lying down. But what do you do when you lie down? You fall asleep. That's what the position's for. So if you try to meditate when you're lying down, chances are you'll wake up an hour later going, what happened? Okay, so the best way to meditate is have a nice, comfortable straight back. Everything's all about making straight the way, okay? All the energy moves in the spine. You get your spine erect, shoulders back. Even, what's his name? Jordan Peterson says, straight back, pull your shoulders back. Okay? There's a lot of reasons for that. If you get your kids to learn to study with a straight back, their results will be even better because the energy flows more freely. Okay, now from there, we just want to be comfortable. You can close your eyes if you want. I'm just going to close mine while I keep talking. You can close your eyes or not. But remember that the gaze has 3 positions. You're either gazing with your eyes straight ahead, gazing with your eyes down, which takes you into the subconscious, which is where you'll fall asleep, or you gaze with your eyes up a little. Not up so it hurts, just up a little. And if you meditate, take your eyes up a little bit. Here's a little secret. It's impossible to fall asleep with your eyes up. How about that? So your eyes are up. If you want to fall asleep, you put your eyes up, you're not going to. But if you're tired and you try to sit in this position, your eyes will gradually fall down and then you'll fall asleep. So one way to stop yourself falling asleep when you meditate is just keep the eyes up. Okay, so just there, relax, nice relaxed shoulders. And all I want you to do is breathe in nice and deep. Breathe out. Okay, you're going to breathe in nice and deep, tense the whole body. Tense. Breathe out. Okay, now we're going to breathe in one more time, nice and deep. Now this time as you let it out, you're going to stop controlling the breath and let the breath do what it wants. So now the breath is out. Just let it breathe in when it wants to. Keep the mind up and the focus on the nose. So the vision, just imagine the breath coming in and out of the nose. Relax. Don't try and control the breath to any pattern. Just let your breath come in and out naturally. Relax. Relax your arms and shoulders. Keep breathing gently. Relax your ears. Relax your scalp. Relax the roof of your mouth. Relax your tongue. Relax your eye sockets. Nice and relaxed. Just let the breath come in and out. And as you breathe in, watch it come in and say to yourself, I am breathing in. As it goes out, when it goes out, just say, I am breathing out. Let it come in and out of its own accord. I am breathing in. I am breathing out. Relax your jaw. Relax your tongue. Relax your scalp. Relax your eyes. Feel the breath come in and out of the nose and say, I am breathing in. When it goes out, I am breathing out. And when you're ready, just open your eyes. So that's probably 3 or 4 minutes. I don't know. I wasn't keeping track. But, you do a little bit of that before and after training. And at any time during the day, I was mentioning last week that I have a little timer on my computer. It's called timeout. And what it does is every so often, I can set it for any length of time, every 20 minutes, it kind of slowly blanks the screen out for 30 seconds. And in that 30 seconds, I just do exactly this. Relax, and then just watch one breath come in, one breath go out. And eventually what happens is that breath actually lengthens so much that you don't even get a full breath in the 30 seconds. You do that every half an hour, and then every hour, you set it for a few minutes, you get up, go for a walk, make a cup of tea, have a stretch your shoulders, okay? But if you can combine that with a few minutes of meditation, everything's different. I'm a little bit biased in this direction, but I tend to believe that there's only one thing that a human being can do that an animal can't, and that's meditate. Oh, look, I'm getting a message saying the signal's starting to get a little unstable. But anyway, we can talk more about that next time. Look, I hope you enjoyed it. It's always my pleasure. I always tend to, the hour goes so much quicker than I thought. But please come back again. I'll be back here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 3 p.m. Queensland time. So that's 0500 Universal Time Coordinated. You can work it off that. I appreciate everybody coming on. Look, have a look below. When I put this back up, I'll put a link to my Patreon site. Every little bit helps. And if you're able to help through Patreon, what I'm doing is I'm using that to bring more and more videos to everyone. Mahalo, Richard. Thank you once again. It's great to have you here. It's always nice to know that you're there. So have a look at that. And please, if you enjoyed it, come back after it's up, because sometimes those live chat notes aren't visible for a little bit. Of course, Harry, see you Friday. Fantastic. Good on you, Imran. Thanks for coming, buddy. But leave some notes down below and share it. That's the best thing you can do. Guys, thanks very much again. Good to see you all, and I appreciate your time. And I'll see you, what's today? Today's Wednesday. So I'll see you in a couple of days on Friday. Thanks. Us.